The territories of the Uesugi clan had long been neglected by their lords, and not by their own will. The clan had been taken into war after war by their ambitious leader, wars that had proven to be successful on most fronts. But the absence of guards had invited new highs of banditry to the region, and the absence of working men had made food scarce. Into this land of desperation came Nariko, ready to make good on her reputation. Her troops, almost completely unchallenged by the clan, toured the villages near Kasukiyama City. Some needed money, some needed food or seeds, and some were completely overrun with pirates. In all cases, she was quick to put her imperial forces to work, dealing with each problem swiftly and without talk of repayment, but for promises to remember the name of Aya no Kata, the previously usurped heir to the Uesugi clan. At the same time, messengers were dispatched to the lords owning the villages to inform them of the services the Empress was providing. Nariko sought to undermine support for Lord Uesugi at every level, and while she might have been finding success, the tensions in her own domain had finally reached breaking point. "This card contains everything you need. Take it."
"Your Majesty, we can't. We aren't allowed to."
"Says who? I wasn't aware you were getting orders from someone with more authority than the Empress. Take these seeds and make this land great. Keep the cart too. That is what heaven wishes you to do, and what your lord likely wishes as well."
"Your Majesty, we don't have any way to thank you."
"Just remember what we discussed last time. Lady Yamanouchi is your way out of this spiral of madness."
Of course. Thank you again. And there was someone here to see you."
"Who?"
"A rider from Kyoto, he said he was. Arrived this morning hoping to catch you. No idea how he got all this way on his own. Looked a little battered. Probably met a few Metsuke on the way. Nearly went mad when I told him you weren't here yet."
I see. Send him out here. Kijiro,
"Your Majesty?"
prepare the troops to move. Something's gone wrong. Hello and welcome back to Nariko's Treasure. Nariko's currently at Otari Village, just finishing off a quest to provide them with some new rice so they can continue seeding their farms. With that done, I decided to zoom out and look around the map to pick where I would go next. There were plenty more Uesugi villages to go and check to see if I could spread my reputation further, but while looking around I noticed something very unusual. As you can see here, the two major cities of Nara and Sakai are now apparently under the control of the Hojo clan all of a sudden, as is a castle to the south, so we've suddenly lost half of our core territory. At first I thought maybe they'd invaded without me even being informed, but I quickly realised the reason it's disappeared is the same reason we were able to take all that territory from Miyoshi so quickly to begin with. All of this core territory is owned by one person, Lord Kikuchi, the lord who was very dissatisfied with Nariko for not giving him more territory throughout the wars. Nariko is going to head back to the core to try and address the problem in any way possible, passing by there some allied forces and Takeda forces fighting against the Uesugi. We get a peace deal with Reizochi clan there, who were at war with us for unknown reasons and have now gone to peace, so basically nothing ever came of that. And also there was an Uesugi army right in the middle of our territory, a fairly large one as well, raiding one of our villages, and we arrived just in time, as it happens, to stop them here. Now I'm ordering my troops to fall back from the edge of the village to try and draw the enemy out so we can fight them on more open ground where we'll have a better time, but this random skirmisher here was refusing to fall back with the rest of our troops. He seemed to be suffering some kind of shell shock and was just standing there as the enemy advanced upon him. Nariko's going to try and get this guy out by keeping these enemies off him, but it's not going to be easy. Luckily, ranged fire coming from the rest of our troops is going to help out as well. Eventually he starts backing away and actually using his weapon at last, so he may be able to return to the line if we can just keep a couple more troops off him, and we seem to do so, but Nariko taking tons of damage to herself in the process, losing half her health, and the same for our horse. Ultimately, we were successful though, so we can now go back to focusing on fighting the battle properly. We'll just send in our cavalry to wipe out the enemy. They actually got almost destroyed by this point in the battle, just due to the fact that we were cutting them down as they were coming out of the village, so not much happened after that. And I started to move west into Akita territory, as you can see, because one thing we need to do in response to this sudden betrayal of Lord Kikuchi is go and hammer the Akita down a little bit, because Kikuchi, being our most powerful lord, would have been providing a lot of the military resources to fight our war with them. So we need to make it easy on the rest of our lords by basically taking the Akita down a notch, and if we can, getting peace. I ended up, in my search for Great Lord Akita to discuss peace, fighting many battles just like this one, where we just overwhelmed Akita armies using our massive heavy cavalry brigades to just smash through all of their troops. They were also at war with various other people, so most of their armies were quite weak. Now, we eventually found Great Lord Akita in the middle of Shikoku Island, and he was very angry about the fact that we controlled Ishiyama Fortress. Apparently, he had a particular vendetta to take that place back, and was very against peace, even suggesting that we just go and commit suicide as the only possible way to get peace. So nothing came of that, but with the Akita suitably weakened, I decided to just carry on and try going back to my mission with the Uesugi. On the way to their territory, I came across this castle here, and realized that I have a massive advantage over it. No one else is nearby, plus it's just on the edge of my own territory, so I might as well go ahead and take this castle while I'm here. No guarantees it will be held for any length of time, but probably worth a go. The attack doesn't go particularly swimmingly for Nariko personally, because she is wounded by arrow fire right at the start and is going to have to step out of this battle. Her army though is going to be able to take this place quite easily. We have so much of a numerical advantage, plus our troops are all really good for the most part, so they're actually quite difficult to kill. Basically, we ran over the castle, and the most difficult thing about this ended up being deciding who to give it to, and I was here for a long time trying to make the decision, eventually choosing to go with someone who currently has a low opinion of Nariko, because we've learned a lesson from Kikuchi at least, which is that we need to try and stop lords getting too jealous of each other, which is of course almost impossible ultimately, because there are so many lords and they all hate each other for having territories every time something is assigned. So we'll just have to see how it goes going forwards and try to avoid it getting too bad. Now, on the way into Uesugi territory further, I actually came across Great Lord Uesugi. I came in to speak with him as he appeared to be moving to Takeda lands, and it turned out that he was interested in peace.
It is on no account of you. You think your stunts are of any strategic value. Are you certain? Do you not pay attention to how your lords are beginning to see things from my perspective? You think I should worry about that even as your own vassals betray you? Clearly your supposedly virtuous rule isn't so appealing. Not all men are cut out to rise above being a warlord. A deliberate use of words there, is it? I assure you that what is difficult for a man is even more so for a woman. Well, to choose my words carefully, allow me to say, I don't believe you. A true outsider you are. You can barely hide your naivety, even when speaking with a man you seek to convince of your authority. Kikuchi will not be the last lord to wake up from your spell. Even a man like Lord Takeda will work out your deception. Is that where you're going now? To tell him I'm a witch? No, I go to cut him down in battle, to do his people a mighty favor. The idiot sings your praises day and night. He constantly seeks to war with me on your behalf. I have ordered no such thing. I wasn't saying you did. You're too weak to order a daimyo, and he's too dumb to coordinate strategies with his petty allies. And you would think that if he really supported you as much as he says he does, he would go along with your war ban. He can't do it if you don't, if Tokugawa and Hojo don't. The strife of one lord is the fault of all the others. So you will concede that point, and yet you will not recognize that as long as there is one man in this land with a sword and a goal, you will never go a day without hearing of death. War calls to great men, and when you tell them to stop, you only make them want to fight for their freedom to fight each other. The way of the samurai, the way of everything. You ignore it because to face facts will spell your own doom, but they will find you in the end, your majesty. As you keep saying, enjoy the truce, Lord Uesugi. I'll do my best. Send Lady Yamanouchi my fondest regards.
This very important peace deal changed my plan. It means we now have really as much time as we need to go and undermine the Uesugi. We don't need to be in their territory all the time in order to be also stopping them militarily by defeating their lord and stopping them from invading me. So given that, I decided to take a different course. First, I moved south through the Takeda lands, actually hoping to see if I could find Great Lord Takeda, but he didn't seem to be about. But I wasn't going to stay around and look for him because my real destination here was to go to the Hojo lands, which were just over to the east, very nearby. We could go to their capital at Odawara. There I was able to have a short audience with Great Lord Hojo. I just wanted to know where Lord Kikuchi is, and since he is now a lord of the Hojo, they will know. And they do give me his location, although I don't recognise it, meaning he's not anywhere convenient for me to go and find them. He's not going to be in my core or anything like that. So given that, I basically decided to just go home and wait for him to show up near one of his own cities of Nara or Sakai. And as I arrived, we get a very interesting offer from the Ukita clan. They want peace as well. We will take that. And with that peace offer, we're now actually completely at peace. All of the wars have now been concluded, and ultimately I think we gained territory in all of the wars we were fighting on all of these fronts. So that's amazing news. And following that, after a few days of doing admin around our core and getting things back in order, I do come across Lord Kikuchi near Sakai. He isn't particularly happy to see us, but he does give me a mission to go and destroy a nearby rebel base on his behalf in order to start increasing our relationship with him once again. But as I find that rebel base, the Amiko clan suddenly declare war on us, which I didn't expect because we actually had quite good relations with them and had been trading in the past. But we're not going to let this divert us from the fact we've now found this rebel base, so we're going to go in and take it down, and this is going to be a blast from the past for Nariko and crew, the sort of thing we used to do quite a lot. This time going to be actually harder than normal because these base raids scale with your level, and the higher level you are, the harder they become. Basically, it just increases the amount of enemies you will face. So we fight our way up to the door. Having a look inside, didn't actually see all that much on the inside. I'm going to do the usual tactic of sniping down enemies with a teppo from a distance before we get too deep into their complex. But actually, someone appears right next to me, shooting Nariko at point blank range. The shot actually does surprisingly little damage. Her health really should have just gone all the way down, but she is wearing some extremely effective Nanban armor, which is not bulletproof, but extremely bullet resistant, so that will have taken off most of the damage. Now I charged up to one of the ends of the base looking for more enemies, and as I arrived, losing some health along the way, as you can see, a load more enemies actually spawned all around us, and our party ended up in a pretty chaotic battle with enemies coming from all sides. Luckily, with all of our crew here, most of the enemies were distracted from Nariko, so Nariko can just go around cutting these enemies down while they're trying to fight with the rest of our team. So it goes okay. One guy in the distance sniping at me there, luckily missing when he could have got a very lucky shot. We cut him down, and that's the end of that. So we've secured one end of the base, taking out tons of enemies along the way and having one of our Onobushi wounded, unfortunately, but still in pretty good shape considering the fact we were basically ambushed and attacked from all sides there. There was even one guy on this tower who actually missed his opportunity. None of us had spotted him. He fired into our crew but missed, and Nariko goes up to finish him off. So there are a load more enemies at the other end of the base, so I wanted to start working my way over there. But actually, as I started moving, enemies started appearing right next to us. There was a guy just round this corner. He misses a point blank range shot, and we're going to finish him off with our pike. Taking advantage here of the fact that our cavalry pike is really long, so when used as an infantry weapon, it outranges pretty much anything the enemy can bring. So as long as you actually hit with your first attack, you're pretty much guaranteed to hit, if not a kill, if you hit them somewhere vulnerable in their armor. There are guys up on that tower in the distance, trying to snipe one down, but it's just too far away. At least we know that if Nariko can't make those shots, it's probably likely that the guys on the tower can't make the return shot, so we're quite safe. Now I moved up closer to said tower, and some of the infantry below it came over to engage with us. I've got our crew hiding here from the tower fire and just attracting over these enemies one by one to slowly cut them down. I realised my guys weren't being very helpful because I actually had them off fire at will, so I'm going to allow them to fire at the enemies now as they come in. Not that we really need to, because our melee tactics are working just fine. There's a guy messing around over by the fences there. I wanted to see if my guys could actually cut them down. Mari takes the shot. It's a miss. Looked like it was very wide of the mark there. Yoshio, more determined to hit someone in the distance. I think he's firing at the tower. There are gunners up there who you can just see from the little step he's standing on. I almost shot this guy, ended up twitching just over his shoulder and shooting that guy in the distance because he was about to fire a teppo at us and then was very quickly able to cut down the closer guy with a pike jab. Looking around the corner, I could see who Yoshio was firing at and cut that guy down myself with now a much easier Teppo shot to take, and that proved to be the end of the raid. We cut down nearly 40 enemies in that assault, got a decent amount of loot, and more importantly, we've done something for Kikuchi that might make him respect us a bit more now.
You have proof? We have their weapons, and their leader's head. Thought you might like it. Very thoughtful. You needn't put on a limp, though. It's real, you scum! She nearly died doing your damn dirty work. The Empress! It was her choice. Her Majesty knew the risks. Just be glad you aren't being executed for failing to protect her. Oh, well, the same to you, my lord. I don't know if you were here to win my favor or put any last doubts out of my mind.
Glad to hear you had doubts, my lord. We're just checking in with the neighbours.
Showing off is all you're doing. And while you're wasting time, your damned mother is infecting this land with her malice again. I don't think the people of Nara or Sakai would agree with that. But these fellows would. Ryuji, show them.
Oh, you've got some heads of your own. Great minds and all that.
I suppose I'm meant to recognize these men.
Well, I do wonder, but I don't expect you to tell the truth either way. Please note what they have in their mouths.
Waste of good coin by the looks of things, and it still doesn't mean anything. The Empress doesn't care about your morbid little craft projects, Lord Kikuchi.
Here, take a closer look.
Wait.
Oh, the bloody Empress doesn't want to hold a head? Well, that's why we have servants. Girl, take it.
Lord Kikuchi, just explain the meaning of all this. We have matters to attend to elsewhere.
Stop playing dumb, then. It will make this all go a lot smoother.
My lord, where is your sword?
Being cleaned. I'm already showing you why that is. Sorry to be a bother, but you have gone too far, and I demand a duel in my lady's name.
Yoshio, wait. No. Look, forget this. We're leaving. Nagako, put that down. Your Majesty? Goodbye, Lord Kikuchi. I hope your new lord will not bring war to Kinai.
No more than your family will, Your Majesty.
What was that about?
A stunt that may have missed the mark, I think.
Did you recognize the faces, Kojiro?
No, but the headwear. It reminds me of old talk about the ninjutsu societies. Assassins?
I've seen them before. Assassins indeed.
And the coins. Did he wish to imply we had paid them to attack him?
Probably. But for all we know, it was Great Lord Hojo trying to steal his lands, given that he went to the effort of the betrayal plot in the first place. It wasn't. Nagako? He said those men would agree with him about your mother, and the coins were new, from the Imperial Mint, Your Majesty. You asked about that before. What do you know? Coins from the new mint have been seen in use, even though they have not been officially distributed. Only you would have access to those coins.
Oh, Your Majesty, you are getting quite into this, aren't you?
I didn't do anything. I didn't even really know about the coins, to be quite honest.
But there is a certain someone who has been filling in for you on such matters who would indeed have access to the coins. That is Kikuchi's point.
Why would Mother just try to kill him like that? I never even spoke to her about it. The coins were minted in Umi.
By the heavens, this little one's got all the answers. We shouldn't have missed that. Kikuchi now controls the fief with the minting house. He probably stole these coins to stage this charade for us.
Well, that's possible. I need to talk to my mother, I think. Something's going on. But let's put it aside for now. We need to make that surprise visit to Lord Amiko as soon as possible.
In response to the declaration of war from the Amiko, we're going to make a decisive strike as quickly as possible. I moved right into the Amiko territory, finding that some of my own lords had already started to do the same. I gathered them up to follow me. The Amiko's territory is basically one big line along the main road, so that means by pressing against them I can also simultaneously defend against any invasions they might have planned, because I'll meet them on the way. Now, it turned out the Amiko seemed to have almost no forces whatsoever. We got all the way to their final settlement along the road, their capital, where we met with Great Lord Amiko himself. He was the first substantial army that we saw. I asked him for peace after finding out that he actually didn't even know who I was, but as we'll see here, his peace deal is one of these classic outrageous deals. He wants territory and a huge sum of money in return for pretty much nothing, so we ignore him, and then we let him leave the castle there and then just chase him down in the field so that we can fight him. I realised my support armies wouldn't be close enough to take part in this battle, but they don't really need to be here. Amiko's army wasn't all that big, only 120 or so men against our 180 or so, and we're just going to wheel right around to hit them from behind with this cavalry attack. Although by the time we arrived, the enemy's army had pretty much got broken up, and we didn't find much for us to actually attack out here. They had just been destroyed because they attacked our front line a little bit quicker than I thought they would, and just got annihilated by it because of their inferior quality troops. So that pretty much was the end of that major battle, the first decisive battle against the Amiko, and without many other forces available, we'd pretty much secured safety from invasions coming from them. They also decided to let Great Lord Amiko go after the battle to build up some relationship with him, hopefully helping us get peace again in the future. Now on the way back I discovered one possible other target, Lord Yamana here, with a very small army, so I decided to take these guys out as well, and pretty much nothing happened, just swept them off the field even easier than before. So now we've taken out what we know to be pretty much all of the Amiko's forces. I actually went home for a bit to do various admin tasks and then came back to see if anything had changed, and again we penetrated all the way into their territory without encountering any resistance or spotting any armies doing anything against us. I did find a new lord in their capital at Izumo, so I went over to have a quick chat with him. Every time I find an Amiko lord, I'm going to be asking them if they like Lord Amiko, basically seeing if we can set up any defections to make this easier. Unfortunately, didn't manage to get any so far. Once again I chased after Great Lord Amiko and thought maybe now that I've destroyed even more of his forces he'll be more willing to go to peace, but actually it's less willing, even though he expressed gratitude at the fact I released him after the last battle as well. So yes, he's increased the amount of money he wants for peace even more, so clearly he thinks this is going his way. We are going to teach him otherwise with a quick battle to wipe him out. Once again bringing the cavalry out into the flank, we can see the enemy forces silhouetted in the distance there, getting cut down by our ranged forces and Nariko alike, and we're going to bring the cavalry over this hill for a devastating rear attack, which will actually be downhill into their army. But as we can see there's actually a couple of troops already routing away, and as we arrive it's pretty much over already, just like the previous battle. These cavalry attacks just aren't necessary against armies as weak as these ones, because they just give up the fight after a few moments once they get near to our army and realise nothing's going to happen. So that's another embarrassment for Great Lord Amiko. My lady wishes to offer her terms again, and I will offer mine again. Are you being serious about that? Did I give you cause to believe otherwise? You live only because she called her men off you. You owe her your life, and more so your allegiance. A white peace is a deal beyond the dreams of a man in your situation. I know, but I can't. What would the gods think? What would the scholars think if I did anything but follow the path of honor? There is no honor in a needless death. Not a needless death. I will fight to stop the imperial family from tearing this nation apart once again. Now that we can see what is really going on here, all good men will do the same. This is about Masako, isn't it? And all that comes with her. Her blood must be removed from the seat of heaven. Why? You never led a clan, Lord Ito. You did not see what happened the last time that woman was stood behind the throne. You didn't see what she made us do. Then tell me. I have already gone too far. If I am to live, leave me. I will listen to your advocacy no more. So be it. Farewell. What she made them do. It could only mean... But why? After the battle I decided that the war against the Amiko is basically a stable situation. We can just leave it to our lords to finish that up since they're not very strong. And I came back to find that there were some Takeda forces moving between Nara and Sakai. I went to go and talk to them to find out what was going on here, especially because I'd noticed some of the local villages had been destroyed, and after asking this guy the wrong questions a couple of times, I finally work out that yes, the Takeda are at war with the Hojo and have apparently sent forces all the way over here to attack Hojo holdings in this area, although those forces are very weak in comparison to the local Hojo forces, so it doesn't seem like that's going to last very long. I also find out that this guy, Kubota, is actually against Great Lord Takeda, so I had the opportunity to persuade him to defect. He seemed extremely on board with the idea of coming and joining the Imperial fiefdoms, but when I asked him to actually do it, he said that he'd rather stick with Great Lord Takeda in the end, so mixed messages, and in the end nothing happens, and we'll just leave him to it. Most likely he is going to be destroyed by the local forces, but I also spotted an Uesugi army in the area, and this is quite handy because we need to undermine the Uesugi by destroying their forces, even though we're not at war with them anymore, and the fact that the Hojo are fighting them allows us to come in and support this battle as an ally. So we'll just oversee the battle and make sure that Uesugi lose. A couple of riders came over to actually challenge Nariko and her army, but they didn't last very long, and the Hojo forces go in. I think they already have an advantage even without us, to try and destroy the Uesugi forces. Went in to investigate what was going on, and basically it was a huge mess, and pretty much failed to actually have any impact on it because it was just absolute chaos, and the Hojo forces were really storming through the enemy and destroying them very rapidly, so the battle ended as our forces came in to try and take part in it a little bit. So that's good. I had hoped here I would gain a reputation with Lord Kikuchi. Unfortunately it was Daijoji leading the Hojo force, meaning we don't actually gain any reputation with Kikuchi because he was just reinforcing, which is a shame, but once again we have hit the Uesugi where it hurt, taking out another of their major armies. So after this I went back to Kyoto, once again hoping to sort out some more admin. I found that here Lord Niwa was waiting, one of the former Oda officers, and he wanted to join the Imperial fiefdom, so that's good. We are going to gain a new officer after all. So we accept his pledge there, and I'm going to give him some territory right away, and of course going to be managing the fact that everyone else is going to be very angry about this new addition gaining some territory. Now the real reason we've come back here is it's time to organise another expedition. All of our battle fronts here at home seem to be stable, and the rest of the lords aren't on the verge of betraying us, so right now we can go back to our plan to undermine and eventually destroy the Uesugi, which we'll be getting into next time. Seeing the Imperial fiefdoms lose their control over most of the capital region, including the national economic powerhouse of Sakai, made many of the paranoid daimyo feel more at ease with the Empress and her plans. Seeing that she was not as all-powerful as they had feared, some began to relent in their opposition to her rapid rise to notoriety. But for less conservative lords, that was not the issue at hand when it came to their antagonism. Historic wounds were being opened by the resurging Imperial household. Wounds that Nariko was not tending to, since she had not grasped a solid reason for there to be any. But that information was creeping closer and closer to her, day by day. Thank you so much for watching. We'll find that the plans to bring down the Uesugi have actually advanced quite far without us, and now only need someone to go and implement them in the next episode of Nariko's Treasure.